As my first video back on this channel, what I think we're going to talk about today is long distance relationships and what you need to look out for. Because I just had to learn this lesson. um, I just had to learn this lesson. I was just in this situation, so we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about what you need to look out for. Um, if you're going to do a long distance relationship, I don't care if it's a state away or the next country over. I don't care. Long distance in any sort of facet, this is what you need to look out for. You need to make sure that the person that you're talking to is who they actually say they are. And if they are hiding things from you and you can tell they're hiding things from you, you might need to question why that is. And you need to be very careful whenever they tell you what that reason might be if you ask them, because they could give you a really convincing reason. They could be truthful, they might not be. And in this particular case that I'm referencing, she was not truthful. Um, so you need to make extra sure that whoever it is who they say they are. And I don't mean a catfish situation. I mean they live the life that they tell you they do. Um, you need to make extra sure that you know what you're getting involved with before you fully commit to it. If you're going to do long distance, that's what you have to do. Some people out here are living double lives, and they will do anything and everything in terms of manipulation tactics to make sure that you don't discover what that life might be. This this specific situation, there were questions that I had, and things that I wanted to do that would end up turning into a fight because I wanted progression. And as it comes with a relationship, I wanted progression because I was invested. And no, no, you need to look out for that, because the person that you fall in love with might, they might be married secretly. um so you need to look out for if they are who they say they are, and you need to look out for what they turn into an argument, such as seeing each other, spending more time together, intimacy, in anything related to that when it comes to being in person. Oh, I don't know if I can, or we'll have to schedule a day, and then that conversation never happens, or it turns into an argument when you bring it up again. You just have to look out for these things, because in a relationship, right, where someone is being truthful with you and they want that progression and they have nothing to hide from you, conversations about seeing each other are never going to be a fight. Never. Conversations about wanting progression together are never going to be a fight, ever. And if it does turn into a fight, you need to question why that turned into a fight to begin with. And if they're really good at manipulating, they're going to make it seem like it's your fault. And I'm not going to put a label on what kind of person that is, because I do not have the necessary qualifications to put a diagnosis on something like that. But I will say that you need to look out for it, and it is manipulation. When manipulation like that is happening, and anything and everything having to do with progression and intimacy turns into an argument, or let's say you make a request for intimacy, that shouldn't be a fight, right? It should be like a, well, what's going on? Let me see what I can do for you because I love you, right? Shouldn't be an argument. If that turns into an argument, then you need to look into that. If you make a request specifically for uh reassurance, and you make it known that that's what you need, and it somehow turns into an argument, you need to look into why that would be an argument before you waste your time and you get hurt over something that was never going to go anywhere to begin with. Be extra careful out here if you're going to do the online dating. If you're going to do online dating, or if you're going to do long distance dating, you need to be extra careful. You need to make sure that they are who they say they are, because it's very possible that they may not be. And if you discover later on down the road that that person is not who they say they are, then you need to walk the fuck away. If an argument comes out of wanting intimacy or making a request or even wanting progression, and it's a conversation, not a push, right? It's a, hey, we're getting some real time in. I would like to start taking these steps, right? That's not unreasonable. That's not unreasonable at all. But if that turns into an argument, then you need to watch out for who you're dating, because whoever it is who turns that into an argument is doing absolutely everything that they can to protect their double life, or maybe it's for some other reason, but it is manipulation, and it will not take you anywhere. All it's going to do is hurt you and make you question absolutely everything about the time you spent with that person. Trust me, I just lived it. I would know. So you need to be extra careful. You need to make sure that whoever it is an honest person. I heard once a while ago that people were doing background checks on potential dates. I don't think that's a bad idea at this point. I really don't. I don't think that's a bad idea. There are plenty of websites that offer that kind of service, and they do it for fairly cheap. And if you know a last name or anything of that sort, Facebook is free. Start searching, I don't mean to say this and make people paranoid, because paranoia does not take us anywhere either. But I think knowing who it is you're getting involved with before you get invested is very important. And that's something that I should have done. But I didn't do that. And I paid the price for it. I highly recommend you use your resources when it comes to online and long distance dating. You look and you see who it is you're getting involved with before you get involved or invested. Because if you find out that this person is not who they say they are, or they have a life at home that you didn't know about, and it doesn't align with the relationship that you have been seeking with this person, such as having a wife or a husband. I hear about that quite often. People will hide having marriages and somehow do it really well. And when it comes down to it, when it finally comes to the moment of confrontation, everything blows up. So I highly recommend, if you're going to do long distance dating, you need to be careful. People like that like to use manipulation tactics to try to spin the whole conversation and make it about something that it has nothing to do with. So then you're distracted, right? And when you're distracted, you're not thinking about the subject at hand. You're thinking about now. Now there's an argument, and now you're on attack and defense. It's no longer about, well, this is what I would like. This is what I need, or anything like that. it's an argument. And that's a really unfortunately beneficial tactic for people who do this kind of thing. I'm getting really fucking sick of sniffling. So be very, very aware. If something such as wanting progression in a relationship turns into a argument, or seeing each other more often becomes an argument, or making certain requests for certain types of intimacy becomes an argument, you need to look out for that. And you need to keep a watchful eye on the kind of person they show themselves to be on social media versus how they treat you. Because everybody uses social media. I don't care what they say to you. Everybody uses social media. Almost everyone I know has a Facebook, an Instagram, Twitter, Threads, Snapchat, anything, right? Pretty much everyone I know has some or all of social media. So if somebody tells you that they don't, question that. Unless unless you come from very specific backgrounds that there's no fucking way. Not in today's world. You can do background checks on phone numbers if it comes to that point where if you're really suspicious of somebody, you can do that as well. And you can get the names of who is on that phone plan for fairly cheap, and it is legal. Unfortunately, that is the kind of world that we live in, where you may or may not have to use something like that just to make sure. I don't recommend you go into a relationship and you think about it like this. I feel like every relationship deserves its space to build trust and to build a connection. But if things stop adding up, if things start seeming suspicious and you can sense that something is wrong, or maybe you start questioning why certain things that shouldn't be arguments start turning into arguments, maybe you should start doing the background checks at that point. And especially if this person is making they're creating problems where there aren't any, out of things that don't need to be problems. So when things like that start happening, that's when you start digging. You might find that there's more there than you wanted to see, but it's necessary to find that information out. And be very, very, very aware of manipulation tactics. Do some research on manipulation tactics and why something would happen in a situation where it shouldn't, such as an argument about intimacy. Just be so fucking careful out here, because you never truly know who you're dealing with until you do the digging at some points. And this is not go for everybody. There are a lot of good people out there. There are a lot of honest people out there. And there are a lot of people whose word you can honestly trust. But like I said, when things stop adding up, when things start seeming off and things start becoming problems that shouldn't be problems, that's when you start doing some digging to figure out why this might be happening, just so you can avoid getting hurt. So I'm bringing this back because I've got so much to say. I've got so much to talk about and so many things to look out for now that I've been reflecting on this specific situation and connecting dots. And now things are starting to make sense as to why certain things happened. So, on that note, I will see you in the next one.